everybody. All right, welcome to Wednesday Women in Transition. I am Blanca Velasco, and I'm getting on. This is her first Facebook Live, so I'm excited. I love bringing on such empowering women from all walks of life who are sharing their passions, their those big transitions in their lives and how it's impacting them and how they share what they're learning and to come. Welcome to Wednesday Women in Transition, Delynn, all the way from Wyoming. I just want to say briefly that we met on a great face-to-face. Hello. And we met on our Women Who Manifest Prosperity, our wonderful leader and mentor and coach, Julie Zanforlin. And we've been watching each other and commenting and posting. And then I invited Delynn to come out and share. So with that, why don't you go ahead and dive in? We've taken a little bit of time, but tell us who is Delynn and maybe one or two transitions that you want to share.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. This is exciting and fun. I love telling. I have many stories, so I'm not sure which one will pop up, but being over 50, that's when I really started living. And it's been a long journey. I was in a bad car wreck in 1981. I went off a bridge, sat in the water for 9 hours, was in a coma for 6 days, had a traumatic brain injury, no broken bones. I had to learn how to walk, talk, and all this stuff all over again. I took a test, a psychological analysis, and they told me that I would never be the same and that I wouldn't be able to make decisions on my own, all of this stuff. And I just told the doctor, I said, you don't know me and you don't know what I probably couldn't have passed this test before my accident, let alone after my accident. So that kind of gave me the fire, but it also could have sent me the wrong way. It could have, I could have just sat in my chair and thought, well, yeah, I can't do anything because this doctor told me that, or this test told me. But it gave me the drive to, a year later, I went down to college and I went through school for respiratory therapy. I passed the class, I got my diploma, my associate's degree, but I couldn't retain the information long enough to take the national test. And then fast forward I got remarried and I had 3 boys, 5, 3, and 1, and I went through nursing school with a brain injury.
Wow. After all that they said that you couldn't do, you said, oh, no way. This is what I am going to do.
And my thing is, I just want people, don't let the diagnosis define you. Don't be the victim. Just go out and do whatever you can do the best that you can do. And if you can't, the only way you can fail is if you quit and if you give up. And I'm saying all of those years, they were dark, trying to live with a head injury. In your vocabulary, it's not the best. It's more like cuss words because those are the easiest things to. So like when people have strokes, it's those words come out because they're so easy to come out. And anger. I had a lot of issues with anger. And so
Yeah.
My poor kids, they seen me at my worst, basically. And then fast forward, then I got pregnant with my girl right after, while I was still in my last semester of college for nursing. And so I was raising my kids, I was being a nurse, and then fast forward, I was in my 50s, I was overweight, and I'd seen my grandma like that, right? And I'm just like, well, this is just how life is. I'm just gonna, this is just it. This is the way the rest of my life's going to be. But I got so miserable, I could barely walk because I have a size 2 foot, and with all that weight and pressure on it, it was just miserable. And finally, a program came into my life that changed my life. I lost 54 pounds, and I became a health coach because I'm thinking, oh, in 2 weeks, it cleared my brain. I was like, what? I mean, I was such a sugar addict. I thought it was a head injury, and a lot of it was sugar. And it was
Yeah.
just like, it was just amazing that went away. And I thought, gosh, I'm going to be a health coach, because if this program can do that for me, for getting off sugar in 2 weeks, and it's clearing my brain and I can think clearly, you know, I can help so many other people, or this
Oh my
program.
gosh. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, okay, so you've had some big transitions from an accident, brain injury, getting in there. And so you went from the brain injury, saying no's, going into your own transition of saying, what can I do to keep going, keep moving forward, having, getting your education, getting your degree. And now you are an entrepreneur, a health coach, and doing, another home-based business because of what you are learning, growing, and transitioning into, because you did not give up. Woo! Right?
Yeah.
And so tell us now where we see you today. We see you that you've, lost this weight, and where do you see yourself going?
So I'm in another business, which is precious metals. And to me, it's everything, because I, my uncle, when I was a little, like 3 or 4 years old, he brought home um, an old coin or something, and from somewhere else. And my family, my mom and my grandma, they collected, 50-cent pieces, silver dollars, the whole bit. And I've always loved coins. I have always, it's just amazing, gold and silver. And I really feel that that's God's money, because the government can print as much money as they want, but we can't just make gold and silver. It's what we're given, and it comes from the ground, and it comes from God. And all of these things that I've been in, I have met so many awesome people. So one thing that I would love to talk about is personal growth development. When I got into the company with Optavia, and I started reading books and being around like-minded people. And then that led me to another book, which was The Miracle Morning, which is a morning routine. And I went to
Love it.
Chicago, and I met Hal Elrod, and it was called The Miracle Morning Mastery and Co-Creation. Before that, I'd been to conventions with Optavia. At that time, it was Take Shape for Life. And but I traveled with a group of women. At first, they had to help me onto the escalators. They had to help me off the escalators. They had to help me, because the fear of escalators, the fear of stairs, the fear of all of these things, heights, it was just amazing to overcome those things. But when I went to Chicago, I went all by myself. I had to fly to Denver, then I had to get on an airplane and fly to Chicago. And my friend picked me up, and I was in Terminal 1, she parked in Terminal 5, and I don't do elevators, or escalators by myself. So I did the stairs. There were 60 stairs in each up and down thing that I had to go through, and I walked the whole way. And if I hadn't lost the weight, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And this was the first time that I had been to an event that I didn't know anyone. I was all by myself. They didn't know that I had been in an accident. They didn't know that I had a head injury. And I felt so loved unconditionally. and that was amazing to me because it was just like, oh, it's like a big family.
Yes, yes. Oh gosh. I mean, we hear the miracles in your life and everything that you've gone through and how much you've grown. And so we're running out of time. So I do want to go ahead and ask you, all right, there's somebody out there watching, listening to your story, brief story, because there's much, much more. But if you can tell that one person out there that's listening, who's perhaps is going through her very own transition right now, what would you tell her?
I would say read books, get into personal development. I think I think people should get into that in grade school. I think affirmations and visualization starting in kindergarten, because I think even as parents we don't really realize what we're doing to our children when we say things that we really don't mean them to, but those things build up in us over and over and over. Like, I hated school because my teachers wrote on every report card that I was slow and that I was too chatty and that that I never finished my homework and all that stuff. So I just wanted to be a wife, not saying anything wrong with being a wife and a mother, but that's what I really wanted. And then going to college and being more than what I ever thought that I could be. So I think personal development is the number one key. I think gratitude. I think if you're depressed, I think you need to get out of yourself, serve others, and be grateful. Be grateful for every little thing, for every breath that you take, because there's somebody out there that is dying to take their last breath and they want more.
Oh my
So
goodness. Wow. Delynn, thank you for coming on, sharing a little bit of your brief story, and again, much, much more. If you want to put your contact info down in the comments, please feel free. And I really appreciate everybody that is on the live. Thank you so much for your hearts, your comments, your likes, and please share this. I mean, you never know who is out there that needs to hear from this another powerful woman in Wednesday Women in Transition. So thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate all the way from Wyoming, from California to Wyoming. Again, thanks so much for being here with us. And if you're watching and if you'd like to come on Wednesday Women in Transition, it's not that scary. So go ahead and comment below or tag me or, message me. But for now, I want to say thank you so much. Have a fabulous